1, 3, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ta-da!
Alrighty. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Broadway Besties podcast. I'm Jesse.
I'm Kat.
The Tony Awards happened. Broadway
Yay!
is supposedly back. A lot of productions are coming back in the next couple weeks. We watched some of them. Well, Kat watched some of them. I watched
Yes, Jesse
everything.
painstakingly watched the whole thing. Bravo.
Thank you. I was told I got extra bestie points for it,
You did.
so worth it. Yeah, so before we dive in, we are going to say that this is just going to be kind of our thoughts. This is going to be like an appetizer. It's going to be like a half-eaten cookie. You know, it's still good. If you want the whole experience, I highly recommend watching it yourself, watching the performances, or if you don't feel like sitting through the whole thing, watch the highlights.
Yeah,
Watch
like I did.
So we got two sides of the coin. We got somebody who played Fortnite with our friends and had fun, and somebody who has 2 pages full of notes and then condensed it into a 6-paragraph play-by-play.
Yes.
Didn't get much sleep.
Golf clap.
Oh no, I actually because I reconvened with Kat and our mutual friends because they were still hanging out, and they could tell if they could see how I felt. Like if I could reflect, I'd be like those cartoon characters that get struck by lightning, who are like all crispy. They could probably hear. I was just like, "Hey, how's it going?" But yeah. So this is the Tony highlights, and for the big winner of the night, Moulin Rouge walked away with almost 10 Tonys.
Yes, which was amazing. And
As
I
a
loved
Moulin
the
Rouge
opening
fan,
number.
how was it performed? How do you feel?
I
Did
thought
it
it
feel
was
like
really
a
good.
translation from the movie that you love so much?
Yes. I really wanted like Satine's character to sing a little bit because I really wanted to hear her voice in the opening, but you know that I guess that's not how the Broadway show is at that point, or that's not what they were, because they were throwing everything in. But I loved how they lowered her in like they did in the movie with her on the swing and the top hat and sparkly outfit. That's just like an iconic image. So I was really happy they kept with that. And the can was amazing. I would be completely out of breath doing that number. I would just be as soon as like the curtain fell, I'd just fall over.
I guess they let the Duke hold all their Tony Awards because I just don't like other people touching my
things.
Because Tina, this should be a standout. Tina did win 1 Tony Award.
Yeah, and her the performance was amazing.
I had chills.
She did an amazing job. Like it literally felt like Tina Turner was on stage.
Yeah, I had chills. So
yes.
very much as a kudos to that. But yeah, so this was a very interesting thing. So as someone who watched it live, they started with the Tony Awards. They open with "You Can't Stop the Beat" from Hairspray, which is with the original cast and such. Then they handed out a ton of awards. They told everybody to take an intermission, to get a cookie, to tune in to CBS live TV, because I was watching it through Paramount Plus, and I was watching it, and I was sitting there, and I'm like, what's going on? And then Leslie Odom Jr. walked up, and he starts performing an opening number akin to most Tony Awards, and then the nights resumed with a bunch of performances, and they were called the Broadway is Back concert. So we had 2 hosts. We had Audra McDonald and Leslie Odom Jr. Both of them did fantastic. Both of them kept the energy up. Both of them did amazing. Both of them performed on a couple occasions, and like Leslie Odom Jr. and his wife performed "You Matter to Me" from Waitress, and they did it phenomenally. And they all did all the performances akin from the one that the show that shall not be named.
Yes.
All of them did great. I watched all of them. All of the performances did great. And then they had actors from other shows doing tributes, and then they had a few reunions. And the only thing that really kind of baffles me is why they split it into two productions. Like why they didn't just call it the Tony
Yeah.
Awards, because they called it the Tony Awards and then the Broadway is Back concert. And that really, really kind of surprised me. It threw me through a loop because then started when Leslie started singing that opening number, I'm like, okay, this is familiar. And he
Hmm.
sang a fun little number about, and I liked it. I liked the jazz feel to it. I liked how they were singing about how if you want to sit in a Broadway show, you need to be vaccinated and wearing a mask. And surely
Hmm.
enough, it panned to the audience. Everybody was.
Which was amazing.
It was amazing. I would have liked if they were sat in like every other seat or something, because
Yeah.
everybody was kind of on top of each other,
Hmm.
and I didn't necessarily. I there was no social distancing, but I'd say a B plus. It was almost perfect. Everybody was wearing a mask. That's the way they're doing it in New York. That's the
And
way
they were all required to be vaccinated too.
they
So
were all
everybody
required
there
to be
was vaccinated,
vaccinated.
which is
They
great.
were. They were, which was really great. And yeah, so there were several performances. So, what other performances did you watch, Kat?
I did watch the opening of the Broadway's Back. I will say the one part I was just like, why? They added that was they were like, what I wonder what the ushers were doing all year or something, and they had like the usher on like the toilet in her robe, and then she takes the robe off and she's in her usher outfit. And I was like, why? Why? You could have done anything else. You could have rolled her out on like a couch and had her like
Like binge
channel
watching
surfing.
something?
Yeah, like do that. Why does she have to be on the toilet flipping through her phone? Why is that the
Listen,
image we're gonna
Kat,
be
it's
stuck
it's
with?
the hard truth. It's the hard truth that we don't
I
want to
know.
face, but it's the hard fact. I think it's also because a toilet was less space conscious
Yeah.
than a
Well,
couch.
they could have done a chair. A little chair is the same as a toilet.
Now they gotta roll out the toilet. They got. I didn't even recognize that it was a toilet.
Oh yeah.
I I was too invested in the number. I did not. I need to go back and watch that. I will say that it was a good one. I enjoyed it. There definitely felt akin to the Broadway openers, because
Hmm.
I do listen to a few Tony openers. Well, to be honest, I listen to the Neil Patrick Harris ones because the
Yes.
the 2011, 2012, 2013 trio are like perfection.
Hmm.
Like all three of those are amazing. My personal favorite, actually, I like the bigger one, like the one where he sings about how everything's getting bigger and bigger, and it
Hmm.
has all the cast from all those shows coming out.
Yeah.
That one is incredible. That one is amazing in scope, but one that I love in terms of song and the way it's played out is actually the What If Life Was More Like Theater one.
Hmm.
Just because of some of the gags they do in that one, like where he sings about how if you didn't feel like going into work, if only you had an understudy, and like
Yeah.
Jesse Mueller walks out, and he's like, actually, no, I'm feeling better now. And he's like, no, Neil, you sound tired. You sound tired. He's like, go away, you threaten me. Like he chases him off stage. But like I love that. But yeah, of the performances, one of the ones that I have to say was my absolute favorite.
Right.
This one is Kristen Chenoweth and Dina Menzel doing For
Yes.
Good.
I watched that this morning to prepare and I cried and just bawled my eyes out.
Oh, I held it together for most when Kristen couldn't get For Good out the first time, when
Hmm.
she started tearing up, that's when it got me the most.
Yeah.
That and then the waterworks just started. Yeah, that song is very, very powerful.
Yes.
Uh, like, I mean, Wicked has so many amazing songs. Defying Gravity, Dancing Through Life. All of them are great, but I feel like none of them really hit an emotional chord that really shows how far the characters have come along, like For Good has.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the second to last song. It is so somber. It is so like quiet and somber, and yeah, I that one got me. Um, the
And I like
original
how it went into then Rent with Anthony Rapp and oh god, I always blank on his name and I feel bad because his voice is amazing.
Mark, I think it's Mark
No,
something.
that's
Let
Anthony
me.
Rapp. Oh, but yeah, Mark. Hang on.
Yeah, I meant the real name.
Sorry, I was like, no, no, no.
What you own? I'm looking up. Come on, Spotify. Don't fail me now. Come
Mark
on,
Cohen.
Spotify. Mark.
There we go.
Yep.
Yes, Mark Cohen. They like it transitioned from Wicked and just like the just us crying to then like Rent and You're What You Own, and I forgot how much I missed their voices because I haven't listened to the soundtrack in a long time. And I was like, oh, this takes me right back to like high school when I saw it for the
It
very first time, and oh, it was so good.
What You Own is, yeah. It went right from the sisters right to the bros.
Yeah,
It went
exactly.
it, and that one shocked me. That one shocked me. I did not expect that one to be a part of the lineup. So that one really surprised me for What You Own. And
Hmm.
I immediately went from crying to like cheering because what You
Yes.
Own might be all disputes of Mark as a character aside. What
Hmm.
You Own, I feel like, really embodies a lot of what Rent is.
Hmm.
Like a lot of like how the characters view themselves and their identities and stuff. And I love that song I love the instrumentation of it. I
Yes.
love the performance of it. The original performance still got it. Oh,
Hmm.
okay, I have her name written down. Jennifer Holliday performing, and I'm telling you, I'm not going, from
Yes.
Dreamgirls, the original Dream. Oh my gosh. So she was in the first half
Hmm.
and she made, oh my goodness, that was an experience. That was an experience. I complete chills,
Yes.
completely moved, and yeah, Jennifer Holliday, one of the original Dreamgirls, performing one of her songs. That was amazing. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, so Moulin
Yay!
Rouge took home a ton of awards. So we're gonna have to look over the movie at some point and then the Broadway version because they updated some of the songs for the Broadway version. Like they put in songs like "Shut Up and Dance with Me" into the
Oh, nice.
Broadway version, and it makes sense. They wanted to make it. They probably kept stuff like the opening at Moulin Rouge because that opening is super iconic, where
Hmm.
everything gets like super quiet and Satine makes that quiet entrance and then it immediately goes crazy again when she's
Hmm.
like on the swing set and like stuff like that. Like that, Moulin Rouge has something that some shows struggle with. Moulin Rouge had a really good movie to stage like
Yeah.
transition. Like it it looked good. And like
Hmm.
they filmed every show inside their own theaters.
Hmm.
So like they filmed them there. So their set also looked really good. Like the
Yeah.
giant like hearts on stage and like Christian hanging out in the rafters.
Yes.
Now I'm gonna have to shout this one out specifically from the concert because my mom loves this one. She loved the fact that she didn't watch all of it, she only watched tidbits,
Hmm.
but she did turn it on the minute that she heard Josh Groban was involved. Because she's seen him in concert, she's a big fan, she has all of his albums,
Aw.
and it was so that was a pleasant surprise. So they opened with this gag of Josh Groban being in box 5 from the Phantom all by himself,
Hmm.
except he was like wearing a turtleneck.
Oh no.
Like, and they're bringing that up, and then him and Leslie Odom Jr. went to Carnegie Mellon
Mm-hmm.
together at the same time. They were like in the same graduating class.
Mm-hmm.
So they performed a duet from Godspell together that was also very, very moving. And they dedicated it to all the educators who have been teaching people during the pandemic
Oh,
and stuff like that. And I thought that was very beautiful.
I also like in the closing number they like did that as a reference. It was like, we went to Carnegie Mellon together. And everybody just lost it. They're like, let's freestyle and wrap up this whole night in 4 minutes. And then the two just walk. We went to Carnegie Mellon together.
Yeah, I do. I loved that. So yeah, it ended with freestyle Love Supreme, basically doing a recap of the show. And I feel like this Tony's it has a very, it was good that Broadway is back. It was
Mhm.
kind of a melancholy return. Because
Yeah.
there is so much uncertainty in the air. There's an uncertainty about theater, but to walk into this night full of hope and optimism and uh, fact that the theaters in New York are going to be okay and that tours are resuming, and then for those who can't make it to you know out to New York, they're doing things like NBC is doing Annie, which we will probably cover together, or one of us will sit
Yeah.
through. But yeah, that so with the Tonys, like, how do you feel about Broadway being back, Kat? Do you think that it is truly back?
I
Or
think there's still a lot of things that will need to be sorted out. Like, I think they're going to have to figure out how to safely um, get the public in and seated. But I'm very happy that it's slowly starting to open back up again, because the world is like so dark right now. Like, it's just very
Mhm.
like, ugh, I can't deal with this right now anymore. And the fact that we're bringing art back and we're bringing music back and we're finally like allowing people to interact with that again is amazing. So I'm really happy that they're opening up. I think they still have a few bugs to like tweak and make sure everything is done safely and to the best that they possibly can be for the actor safety and the public safety.
Yeah, I think my personal opinion is that I think that in actual theaters, maybe raising the price like $15 or $20 more per ticket than just spacing people out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's my biggest idea. Because when I saw Waitress, I sat in the balcony
Mm-hmm.
and I had the whole I purposely set myself in the middle, and I was like, oh no, I better, get myself ready. No one showed. I
Oh,
had that
nice.
balcony all to I had that row all to myself. And I'm not
That's
saying go to that
awesome.
extreme. I'm not
Yeah.
saying go to that extreme where you sell
One
9
person per row.
tickets, where you end up selling let me see, at my auditorium there's like 40 rows in the balcony, 40 rows in the so only selling 120 tickets, but it's one person per. Imagine being an actor and you only hear a few people like, yeah, just like one clap, yay. um,
Encore, encore. Like, just imagine like those little old ladies or men in the boxes. Like, yes.
that's reminding me of when I saw On Your Feet, the Gloria Estefan musical.
Hmm.
And so during I think it's called Conga. Yeah, I think that's the song.
Hmm.
Um, they all go into the audience and they start firing like confetti cannons and stuff because
Hmm.
they make a big deal out of this one. And
Yes.
the cast goes in the audience and they're like trying to get the people in the audience to stand up and dance. Well, those are the best seats in the house, and who can afford the best seats in the house but the older people?
Yeah,
So I just
exactly.
saw like older people looking in bewilderment at these like dancers going down the aisles, and they're like, "Who are you?" Like, and they're all like, they're like, "Yeah, get up and dance," and they're all like,
I just had a hip
no."
replacement.
Yeah, they they were just like, no, no
Aw.
thanks. Like I saw one dude visibly like shaking his head like I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it at the
Oh
actor.
no.
But then again, it was also the matinee. No one feels like because I historically go to matinees. I know matinees are not usually, the performance of choice.
Hmm.
It's usually the night ones, because the night ones are like because matinees historically are where they let the understudies perform. Like
Yeah.
Sunday is where the understudies are like the actors like I threw my voice out Saturday night, like it's all yours. I'm
Yeah.
taking Sunday off. And so like the understudies perform a lot, but that's one of the charm to me about Sunday is getting to see people who don't normally get to perform at night, like
Hmm.
during the day. But there is something else that I would like to address that happened here
Yes.
at the Tonys that is very important. There were a lot of speeches concerning the current climate of Broadway
Hmm.
and its inclusion. There was a outstanding performance from I have their name written down because I don't want to get wrong. The Broadway Advocacy Coalition, which is made up of a bunch of actors who are African American, Hispanic,
Hmm.
all sorts of different races, and their whole purpose is to bring diversity to Broadway in any sort of different way. And they did a performance that involved tap dancing and singing with a choir and spoken word all melded together in like one performance, and it was breathtaking. It was one of the highlights of the night. It was outstanding, and there were a lot of speeches that I highly recommend looking up because they were very, very moving, and they did also make nothing but valid points that Broadway, in some senses, is back. Maybe Broadway
Yeah.
should be back and be different. Maybe there should be more roles for people of color. There should be more roles
Absolutely.
for people of all walks of life, and it shouldn't just be that way. They were talking about how this year and a half without theater should
Hmm.
lead to introspection of what theater was like before, and should it be the same as it comes back, and it shouldn't be. There
Right.
was a fantastic speech, um just speech after, honestly, there were some amazing speeches, and I need to grab the person's name. Now I'm running into a bunch of like past Tony speeches. So
Was
yeah,
it one of the individual winners or was it a like group one?
just two people accepted the award. Two people walked up and
The
um
Inheritance
yeah,
was
the
the best one.
Inheritance, and or was it the best revival of a play?
And that one would
Oh
be
my
a
goodness.
soldier's play.
Yeah, the Soldiers Play.
Uh, play
I'm so sorry. I feel like I
Tony's
derailed this.
2021. That's okay. Um, so Inheritance wins best play at Tony's. Let's see. Um, Making Matthew Lopez first Latino writer to take home an award.
That one was important. His speech was very important. The one I'm thinking of might be for Soldiers Play,
Okay, so
because two people
soldiers.
went up, and
Uh,
the director let the producer speak, and the producer's speech was incredibly chilling, like incredibly like moving.
uh, Director Kenny Leon expands on stage call for diversifying the theater. We can do better as people.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so his name is
His
Kenny
speech,
Leon. Yeah.
Kenny Leon, Kenny Leon for Soldiers Play. You said
Hmm.
his speech was amazing because he talked about how he's like, I don't discredit Shakespeare. I don't discredit all of these great playwrights in history, but all of them are at the table. The table
Hmm.
needs to be bigger, and it
Yes.
was, you could hear a pin drop. That was how powerful it was when he said
Hmm.
that. And he talked about Broadway needs to be better, and it was so amazing. And he talked about how there are so many great stories out there, and he brought up how Native American creators need to be heard,
Hmm.
and how African Americans and Latinos, and it was yes. So yes, Kenny, that was by far. There were some good speeches, but that speech, like downright, that one moved. That one moved me. That one was incredible, saying that we need to do better, because in my opinion, Broadway is back, but I do think that there are things that are in the theater community that are being done, whether they are, harming other people or causing drama or chasing awards or chasing money, that definitely need to stop. This is
Hmm.
this is art. It shows that with The Inheritance and with
Hmm.
Slave Play, two shows that were widely beloved and widely celebrated, and only one show got Tony after Tony after Tony after Tony after Tony in terms of the plays.
Hmm.
Like in the original plays category, one show literally got almost all of the awards, and then I think Christmas Carol got like a few of them.
Yeah.
But the Academy for Theater needs to change. They need to stop dumping awards into one show. They need to sit down and actually go, does this really deserve all of the awards?
Hmm.
Because, for example, when Dear Evan Hansen was on Broadway, a show that we will be reviewing in the future, Come From Away, was touring, and it was a show that celebrated diversity. It was a show that celebrated love in a time of deep hatred. It showed the power of a small cast. It showed the power of community, and it was a beautiful show.
Hmm.
Someone is the people who gave all the awards going to really look me in the eye and say, Dear Evan Hansen is that good that they need to dump every single Tony Award into that one show?
Right.
It's like the Oscars. It literally is like the Oscars. The Oscars will pick one movie, and suddenly this one movie is so revolutionary that doesn't discredit every other movie out there. Giving all the awards to Joker doesn't discredit all the movies that ran against it. Giving all the awards to La La Land doesn't discredit Moonlight, which actually won. In the end, the best
Yes.
picture, but that's what I'm saying. When he says that theater needs to be better, I agree. I
Yeah.
think that in one aspect is that they need to sit down and either get a different council of the people who are handing out these awards, or they
Hmm.
need to actually put some thought into these shows. Because
Yeah.
as a viewer, I would love to see. I'm not saying it's a participation like everybody gets a Tony, but like Tootsie won 2 years ago, a very controversial show
Hmm.
that a lot of people agreed wasn't well written, and everybody was very angry because Beetlejuice, a show that's very beloved by its audience, didn't get a
Hmm.
single one and might have deserved a few awards or
Oh,
two.
definitely.
Beetlejuice, people are celebrating. That show is alive again. That
Yay.
show got killed by Hugh Jackman and lived somehow. Because I remember, like, this is pre COVID shutdown theater. Music Man, like, pressed in and claimed their theater before they could renew
Hmm.
their lease. And then they started selling Music Man with Hugh Jackman tickets in the lobby of Beetlejuice. So you would have to go to a whole separate desk to even get a Beetlejuice ticket while the show would. Like, the flex of, oh, we're going to show our tickets in your lobby, even though your performances aren't done yet.
Yeah.
So to see that show make a comeback is actually semi-historical right now. Like, that show got killed by Hugh Jackman and lived. Like, it came back, and I'm happy. Beetlejuice isn't really my thing. It's not for. I'm not a fan of spooky stuff, but for
I
fans
love
of
the
the show
spooky
who
stuff.
want to see it, congrats. My wholehearted congratulations. But yeah, I think Broadway is kind of back. I think
Hmm.
celebration was necessary. I like the fact that they used performances from all sorts of different theater shows over the years, whether it be Hairspray or Rent or Wicked, or they did a performance of It Takes Two from Into the Woods.
Hmm.
All of these classic shows. It was great to see kind of a best of. I think that was a really good compromise. Like, they're like, we got to fill out this award show, and we only got 3 shows to give Tonys to, and they only
Yeah.
get to perform once. So the fact that they had several people either reprising their roles or other actors performing as tribute to these
Mm-hmm.
shows was really, that was nice. It felt like a celebration of theater, and honestly, I think something they should consider for the future. I think maybe the Tony Awards shouldn't just be celebrating current theater. I like the idea of it being a look back, and
Yeah.
you know, maybe not like 4 or 5 songs, but maybe 1 or 2 classic songs. Like they did this during the Hamilton year, and it was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
They had people outside performing for people who didn't get inside the theater,
Yeah,
and they had cat.
I've seen YouTube videos of that.
Yeah, that was insane. They need to do more stuff like that, like celebrate theater as a whole, and then
Yeah.
yeah, just my closing thoughts. Just yeah, Broadway does need to do better, and the
Mm-hmm.
Academy needs to do better, and they really need to think before dumping every single award into a certain show. They need to, because I bet that giving all those Tony Awards to Dear Evan Hansen, like now the Broadway show isn't, people are shining a light on that and going, was it really that good to begin with? All it took was a bad movie. It's for people to be like, wait a minute, was that really a good idea? And you wouldn't have to question as much if you didn't dump 10 awards into it without question, while
Mm-hmm.
everybody else sat and watched and went like, wait a minute, what about Waitress? What about Come From Away? What about the Beetlejuices? These shows that are inspiring and moving modern audiences today to create their own unique, amazing forms of theater. And I mean, for Beetlejuice, I mean, I haven't seen it. I haven't listened to much of it. I've seen advertisements.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I would need to know is the sandworm in it. Is the sandworm in it?
I believe it is, but it's like not.
Does the sandworm tap dance?
Probably not.
Wasted potential. Just say, you know what? You're bringing the show back. It's time to make some edits. Make the sandworm tap dance. That's my new hashtag. Make the sandworm tap dance.
Just the like 5-minute dance number of like the sandworms tapping across
Yeah,
the stage.
use like a giant paper mache, like
Just shuffle
worm.
off to
So
Buffalo.
yeah, well, here's how you do it. It's like a giant paper mache.
Mm-hmm.
You see a bunch of actors inside it, and they're the ones who are tap dancing. Bam, tap dancing sandworm. Just saying.
Oh my god.
They could make it work.
I'm sure they could. It might get really bad reviews though if they added that in.
Nah.
Like the show is great, but there was like a 5-minute dance number that what?
Oh, like your critique of a 15-second gag of somebody on the toilet.
Yes, exactly. That's what
I
it would
love
be
how
like.
that's how you open this episode. I liked it a lot, but this toilet bit, it's like,
Yeah, that's the thing though with like shows, like it'll be brilliant, but then there'll be that one thing and you're just like, why did that need to be in there? Why was that?
I
Why did
mean,
they think that was a good idea?
I
That's
mean,
what you're going to be talking about.
I mean, here's the thing. That's just, we're giving us the truth. They were giving us the reality. That's what we were doing. So whether you're willing to
I
acknowledge
was
it or
lounging
not,
on the couch, sir. I do not do such things. I am a lady.
sometimes you need somewhere to cry that isn't the living room. I'm
That's
just
true.
saying.
Very true.
I'm just saying. They had a point.
Oh my god.
They had a point.
Uh,
Any thoughts you would like to share, Kat?
I think that I agree that Broadway does need to definitely, I think not just Broadway in general, but like all of theater and performances and like movies and everything needs to be better and needs to be more inclusive and actually like branch out more. So I definitely agree with that.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm really happy that again people can, start to experience the joys and, sadness and just heartwarming things that theater and musicals can bring.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more.
But say that in a more elegant way. Imagine I said that very elegant. elegantly, whatever.
Elegantly
Yes, thank you. Eloquent. There we go.
eloquent. Okay.
Yes.
I agree with you 100%. And this doesn't mean that the norm isn't going to go away.
Right.
If it makes money, it'll stay,
Hmm.
like it does. There need People aren't even asking to like completely replace what we know. They're asking, as mentioned earlier, people are asking for a seat at the table, and that's not a
Yeah.
big ask. It's not a big ask to be included entirely when you look at it and see the way the awards are divvied out, the way the sales are divvied out, the ones that are getting movie adaptations.
Hmm.
Like, change definitely needs to be made. And that being said, maybe instead of reviving How to Succeed in Business without really trying for the 800th time, revive Legally Blonde already, you cowards! Run it through the ring.
Hmm.
Obviously, make some writing changes because there are some things about Legally. They changed My Fair Lady, so revivals aren't akin to, they aren't untouchable.
Perfect.
Changed the ending of My Fair Lady entirely to the fact that the last Broadway version changed it to where she made herself instead of the man making her, and that was adored. So change Legally Blonde a little bit, tweak a very few things, but that show is near perfect.
Hmm.
We need Bend and Snap back on Broadway. We need Bend and Snap back on Broadway. We need that. So stop reviving the shows that are like from the 60s and start reviving like Legally Blonde. I'm just saying. That's the soapbox I'm willing to stand on all day, any day.
Yeah.
I want Legally Blonde to come back and get a pro shot so I can buy it. And yeah, that's another soapbox. Give shows more pro shots already. I love that I can watch Hamilton on Disney Plus or Newsies anytime, or that Concerts of Les Mis exist, and now we're getting a Waitress pro shot in the near future that I'm
Hmm.
very, very excited about. Give shows, yeah, those are the two shows. Those are the two soapboxes I stand on. Give shows more pro shots for people who don't live in
Yes.
towns that always have theater
Or
like
can't
me.
afford to go to like live theater.
Yeah. Imagine the ticket of a show, but instead you get 20. Like, Hamilton is still a little pricey, but if you pay $6 for Disney Plus, you get to watch the whole thing. That is a
Yeah.
bargain. Also, Newsies. Why? That's another. Oh, great. Now I'm on a stack of soapboxes. Now that's what. Newsies is definitely one of our future episodes because, yeah. But anyway, I agree. Uh, Thank you for listening to our episode. I
And we will be talking more about Legally Blonde next episode. So tune in for that because it'll be super fun.
it will be fun. It will be fun. And next time there's a award show, hopefully next Tony's. Hopefully.
He's like, hopefully I won't be watching it alone, cat.
I didn't say it. I didn't say and I didn't watch it
We
alone.
all know the tone. We
I
all
didn't
know.
I didn't watch it alone. I my cat Dash. I picked him up and I said, "You're watching the Tonys with me." I think
Oh,
I woke him up from a nap, and he was just
of
laying
course.
there, and I picked him up and I'm like, "You're watching the Tonys with me," and he was like, "Wah." And he sat there for a whopping 5 minutes, and then he left. So I
Aw.
was like, "Dang it!" And then because it's award shows,
Hmm.
it's the Academy, it's the industry pet. This award show had a different air to it because it is celebrating an art form
Hmm.
that has not been around for a year and a half. So there was celebration in the air, and there was a good time, and there were good memories to be made. But next year, when the Tony Awards are back in full swing and Hugh Jackman's getting a Tony for singing "You Got Trouble," we'll see how that one. I'm calling it right now. Predictions Tonys 2022 because Music Man is on track to come back. Funny Girl, I am rooting for you because this is the first time they're bringing back Funny Girl in like
Yay!
decades. They are bringing back. Obviously, she's gonna sing "Don't Rain on My Parade" on stage because it's like the
Yes.
low hanging fruit. They're clearly gonna do 76 trombones for Music Man because that shows off the cast at its fullest. Funny girl, I'm in your corner, but right now I don't want to say this. I have a gut feeling that because it's Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster, and it's super old, everyone's gonna go like, all the people in the Academy are gonna be like, it's Music Man! I grew up with Music Man! My college did Music Man! And it's gonna be like, oh no. So I'm already bracing myself that Hugh Jackman's gonna walk away with the Tony Award. I'm calling it. Music Man's gonna win. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, Broadway.
We shall see.
Prove me wrong. But I'm calling it right now that he's gonna walk up there and they're gonna be like, it's Wolverine! Give him a Tony Award! It's Hugh Jackman! I sound like I sound like I'm very jaded, but I mean, I still love Hugh Jackman. And if he merits it, he merits it. I'm just saying, I'm rooting for Funny Girl already because this show has been dormant for so long. Because every time they try to bring it back, everyone's like, oh, you can't do it without Barbara Streisand. And then they close it before it even begins. This is the first time it's actually coming back. This means so much. And I feel like it's a very revolutionary show. It's about an actress like trying to break into the industry. Like, it's very akin to today still. Like, but okay, so next Tony Awards. I mean, if I had to do it all over again and take all the notes for us to do this, I would do it again. I would. But I'm not sitting through the Oscars. That's a
Oh God, no.
unless we get 1,000 subscribers. That's the key. If we get 1,000 subscribers, I will personally sit here and do a play-by-play of the Oscars. That's the only one.
Please, no.
Even if a musical is nominated, I'm not doing it. It's Tonys, at least we get performances and speeches, and we get like song and dance and stuff like that. No matter who's hosting, no matter what, the Oscars are so boring. They celebrate movies that none of us watched 9 out of 10 times. It's like, hey, here's this art house cinema film that only played at film festivals, and I'm like, I didn't even know this movie existed. The only category I pay attention to is Best Animated Movie, because those are the movies I actually sat down and watched. All the other ones, it's like, I can't. Black Panther! Black Panther's okay, I'm gonna get on another soapbox if I get into that. Quick tangent, Black Panther deserved more Oscars.
Yes.
That was a movie that we all actually watched and was very culturally important and an amazing movie. But anyway, I think that will wrap up this Tony discussion.
Our Tony tangent.
Well, thank you for giving our episode title now. Our Tony tangent that Jesse sat through all 4, almost 5 hours of.
Oh my goodness.
And then
award shows need to like scale it down. Like, just give the award, do the speech. You don't have to throw it out to like hours of just.
I agree. Award shows need to be shorter.
Yeah.
There
we go.
Award shows need to be shorter. Well said, Kat. Yeah, that's all for this episode.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening, and be sure to like and subscribe if you're new or haven't done so yet, and click that little notification bell if you want to get notified when we post new stuff. But we will also be posting every bi-weekly, so every other week. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. And yeah, come back and see us soon.
Yep. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we will be back again soon.
Yay! Bye!
Bring back Legally Blonde.